Are you?
Welcome to episode 2 of Under the Spotlight, where we take a look at some retro games and discuss whether or not they're worth your time playing or worth your time physically owning. Today's episode, Spawn for the Super Nintendo. The year is 1992. After having spent around 8 years working with two of the most highly regarded comic book publishers, Todd McFarlane set out to create his own publishing studio, Image Comics.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
Spawn followed soon after. Issue 1 released in May 1992 and sold well over 1 million copies, breaking the record for most sales for a creator-owned comic, a record that it actually still holds to this day.
Oh shit.
The success of the character was immediate, especially in the time of family-friendly storytelling. I mean, you did have things like The Watchmen, but Spawn brought a level of taboo to comic book storytelling. Spawn was a darker, edgier take, which at the time was incredibly unique and as groundbreaking as it was refreshing. Success was quick and significant, granting a standalone video game release in just over 3 years, an achievement Spider-Man didn't see for around 19. I mean, but is the game worth your time playing? Is it worth your time collecting? Let's go find out. Spawn, the video game, released in October 1995 exclusively for the Super Nintendo. It's the peak console and received heavily mixed reviews. And for good reason. The game sucks, but at the same time it doesn't. Hear me out. Immediately the game hits you with a significant amount of difficulty. Not necessarily in the combat or the combat system, which is pretty bare bones, kind of copycat from other beat 'em up systems. Pretty much everything kills an enemy within 1 to 2 hits. But the platforming...
One good sub later.
It's horrible! Upon first impressions, this game is miserable. It really can't make up its mind if it wants to try and be a difficult platformer, or if it wants to be a simple beat 'em up.
Make up your mind.
The game goes back and forth between giving you simple enemies to defeat, and then the next moment an enemy is tossed at you that does nothing but sucker punch you. And especially the platform. The platforming is honestly the most annoying part about this game. Like, it wants to be a pretty standard beat 'em up platforming game, which suffered some things falling through the quality assurance cracks. And a platforming aside, one of the biggest problems with this game, in my opinion, are the special moves. If you're watching this video and you've played Spawn before and I just blew your mind, you're not alone. This opinion was fairly frequent when I was browsing the Spawn forums about the difficulty of this game, and it's made so much easier if you know about the special moves. The unfortunate part is without an original instruction manual or prior knowledge of you having noted them down somewhere, you're not going to know about the special moves that make this game go from Ultra Nightmare makes you want to shadow box your demons to a fairly pleasant experience. But at the same time, it isn't a 100% pleasant experience.
It's not so bad.
So it's not so good.
Because the game requires fairly quick inputs, which I don't think the Super Nintendo can keep up with. This game, if intended to be challenging, would work better on something not the Super Nintendo. Because I found in several circumstances and situations, I wouldn't be able to pull off a relatively simple special move as frequently as the playthrough I was watching, which was probably played on an emulator. The story isn't exactly anything special. I didn't look to see if this followed the story of some comic book releases, but it felt simple enough that this could have just been pieced together in one night. It's a very basic story, and the pixel art is hit or miss. Don't get me wrong, the animations and the gameplay look so good. Regular gameplay is actually quite fun. Actual gameplay aside, the visuals kind of make it enjoyable because everything just looks cool. Spawn walks like he's Dog the Bounty Hunter, just ready to collect on some unpaid debt.
Run him! Go, get him, boys! He's running!
He's running!
And the move system is diverse enough to make each level attempt unique. But the absurd amount of difficulty, I honestly can't say. If you're looking to play this on the Super Nintendo, it can be done, but I don't think it's going to be as enjoyable an experience as something that can keep up with the necessary speed that your inputs have to be. As for collectability, I'm gonna be honest, I actually think this is a game worth physically owning, especially because this is Spawn's first official video game. I honestly think it's only going to appreciate in value. It is fairly hard to find a complete in-box copy, but I'm gonna be honest, the cart itself actually does look kind of nice. The copy I picked up does have a little bit of wear and tear on the label, but the main art is undisturbed, so I'm actually fairly happy with it, as it's very reminiscent of early 90s comic book artwork, and I have a bit of a nostalgic feel for that, so I'm incredibly happy with it. I probably will, in time, get a nicer copy, but that's neither here nor there. If you're looking to play the game natively on a Super Nintendo, I would suggest picking up a copy with an instruction manual included, no matter the condition, solely because, from what I could find, the instruction manual is the only place you're gonna have every special move listed, and the special moves are like night and day. Like, the gameplay is so much smoother with the special moves, some of which I couldn't find in forums or online. But if you're just a Spawn fan and want to collect a piece of Spawn memorabilia, absolutely grab a physical card of this game. I picked mine up at around $25. If you can find this game for about $30 or under at the time of this video, 100%, I definitely recommend Spawn the video game. It is worth collecting, and if you don't mind a little bit of a challenge, despite how overwhelmingly frustrating it can be, it's an alright experience. Is it a must-own? No, but under the right circumstances, it's justified.